Hello friend and welcome to Roxana Reed Media. My name is Roxana, surprisingly, and on this channel I am documenting my journey of becoming a videographer and social media expert and sharing all my tips, tricks and specialist knowledge with you. I'm that nice. In today's video I'm going to talk about the gear that you need to get started on YouTube, especially if you are on a budget. And by budget I mean free. That's what a real budget is. Make sure you watch right until the end so you can learn all the tips and tricks and see a little sneak peek of my setup here in my wonderful YouTube studio. There are so many videos out there talking about all these specialist DSLR cameras, lenses, light boxes, green screens, microphones, shotgun microphones, boom microphones and all this, and it's overwhelming and it's expensive. As a beginner YouTuber, most people are on a budget and don't have that sort of money to spend on things. If you do, if you're a millionaire, if you just like burning money for no reason, go ahead and buy those things. This video is not about that. I see YouTube as a hobby. Now, if you're thinking of it as a hobby like me, or even if you're thinking of it as a business, this same concept can be applied. If you were starting a new hobby or a new business, for example, let's talk about knitting. I don't know why, just let's use knitting as an example. You're starting knitting. Would you go out and buy gold-plated knitting needles and 1,000 balls of wool? No, you would not. You would go and buy 2 knitting needles and a few balls of wool and get started like that. If in 6 months' time you are still knitting, you're still loving knitting, and maybe you're even making a bit of money from knitting, that's when you could invest in more advanced equipment. But until that point, there's absolutely no use spending money. Having better equipment isn't going to make you a better video maker. It's not going to make you a better YouTuber. What is most important is that your content is good, okay? If you've got the best camera in the world, but your content isn't that good, it doesn't make a difference. Now, the chances are, if you are watching this video, you are either watching it on a mobile or on a laptop. And unless you bought either of those things in like 1992, they will have a camera on them. And that camera will be good enough for making videos for YouTube. Right now I am using an Oppo F5, which is just a regular Android phone. I don't have a fancy camera. I'm filming in 1080p at 30 frames per second. And you know what? It's good enough. It's perfect enough for this type of video, and even for my vlogging videos, which are a bit more cinematic. I mean, I'm not quite there yet, but I use that type of camera. If you've got, I think from like iPhone 8 onwards, you've probably got 4K, like the Samsung S8, 9, 10, I don't know, one of those has 4K. That's amazing. But if you don't, it's still fine. Unless you've got anything really lower than like 720p, you're going to be okay. So for example, even on your laptop, if you've got a webcam in your laptop, it's most likely going to be at least 720p, and you could film with that, to be honest. It doesn't matter. Let me know in the comments below what you are watching this on, if it's a mobile or a laptop, and what the specifications are for your camera. Okay, so now you've figured out the camera, which is like the most important thing. You cannot make a video without having a camera. The next thing you're going to think about is the light, okay? Now this is where some people say use a ring light, use a box light, use this type of light. Well, I've got an idea for you. Why don't you use a light that is completely free? Now, what could that be? A window. Literally go and set up your camera in front of a window and use the daylight from that window. Okay, that's what I'm doing right now, and it's working out quite fine for me. You can see me clearly. That's good enough. Now, maybe you live in, I don't know, Sweden or the North Pole, where you don't get daylight for 6 months of the year, or you live in a basement. In that case, you probably have something called electricity, and you can turn on your ceiling light, or maybe you've got a lamp like this one behind me, or I've got one here, which you can turn on. So you can see there's a bit more light on this side of my face. I don't actually like this light because it's very bright and it's actually quite hot. It's not LED, so you know. But if you've got electricity, you're going to be fine. Just use whatever you've got. Literally, that's it. If you're living in a cave, maybe you've got a torch light. You could use that. But if you're living in a cave, then you're probably not making YouTube videos. Or would you? That would be quite a good series, I think. Another thing that I do have is actually one of these small tiny ring lights that you can't really see now, but it is quite powerful in low light settings, and this just clips onto the phone. Mine is broken, so I've got a bit of double-sided tape here and I can stick it on to my phone or something like that. But again, you don't really need it. So I'm going to show you my setup now. I don't have another camera, obviously, to film my setup, but I do have a mirror. So I thought this was quite smart. You can see here is my camera, and then here is that wonderful thing I was talking about called a window. And right now I am in England, which isn't the sunniest place in the world, but the daylight today is quite nice, and yeah, I just don't film at night. Problem solved. Now the next thing I want to talk about is this thing that my phone is on. So this is a tripod, okay? I've actually got two tripods because that's how I roll, and both of them are similar. This one's a bit smaller, the one I'm using right now is a bit bigger. Both of these were actually given to me for free. Now, you could probably walk around the streets and find someone throwing out a tripod, to be honest. They're so cheap that you could just pick one up for free, or, you know, look on Amazon. I'll leave a link below to a good one that I found. And they really don't cost that much. You could spend maybe 10 to 20 pounds or dollars, whatever your currency is, on a decent tripod. Now, this tripod has a screw thingy here, so you would need a phone mount, okay? If you don't have a phone mount, you might have this wonderful contraption called a selfie stick, okay? And most selfie sticks these days, they come with this little hole here, this little screw, and I was just screwed onto this, which is another small tripod, okay? So you can screw that on, and then voila, you've got a tripod, selfie stick, monopod, whatever. You can put your phone in there, stick it on the floor, on the table, whatever it is, and you're good to go. If you really cannot find a tripod, if you don't have $10 to spend on a tripod, or you just don't want to, because like I've said, we don't want to waste money, you could literally just stack up a pile of books and put the phone on there, get two rocks, wedge it in between the two rocks to balance it. Do whatever you need to do to get that phone up somewhere steady and stable. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about that's kind of related to tripods but isn't so much on a budget is the Zhiyun, or the Zhiyun, literally nobody knows how to say it, Zhiyun Smooth 4 Gimbal. Okay, this is just the one I have. You could get, like, there's hundreds, thousands of different gimbals. This was about 80 or 90 pounds, so it's not really a budget, but again, you can get a cheaper one. And I would recommend this for people who are doing vlogs, like travel vlogs, and if you're walking around. What it does is it stabilizes your footage, and it changes it from looking like this, which is just all wobbly and all over the place, to looking like this, which is a bit more stable, okay? Now, people watch YouTube videos, they don't want to be on a roller coaster ride, okay? Unless it's literally a video of a roller coaster ride, then maybe you won't use a gimbal. I don't know how that would work. But again, if you're just making a video like this where you're sat down in your room doing a makeup tutorial or a talking head video, then yeah, just use the tripod thing or the stack of books. Just balance that phone. Don't have it shaking all over the place. Nobody wants motion sickness. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the audio quality. So using a microphone. Right now, I am actually using an external shotgun microphone. I made a video comparing different microphones and talking about audio quality. You can click the link up here or in the description below. So I'm not going to go into details about that in this video, but essentially you could get a cheap microphone, or maybe even just using like the headphones that come with your phone. They sometimes have a microphone, and that will probably be better than just the microphone straight from the camera. Alright, so that's it for today's video. Those are the tips and tricks that I know for making a video on a budget, and like I said, most of those things could be even free. Let me know in the comments below if you liked my ideas, and if you didn't, let me know. And if you've got any other suggestions for filming on a budget. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe so you can continue following my journey and learning with me, and yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye!